Hello and good evening. It is the AFL Armchair Advisors. We are back for the first week of the finals for season 2021. Boys, we are not mucking around anymore. All right, we've cut the chaff out. We've separated the men from the boys, as Desmond Van Bus likes to do regularly. And I tell you, it is finals, and I am keen as a bean. I am also Rich, of course, of the AFL Armchair Advisors. Joining me is a man who is as sensible as he is intellectual, and take my word for it that he is both. He is sensible. Dan, how are you, fella?
I'm feeling great, mate. It's finals week. We've got some really good games on the schedule. I'm excited. I'm real excited.
Huge. Every game this week, I'm genuinely looking forward to.
Absolutely. There's no duds.
No duds at all.
That's the best part about finals.
And speaking of duds, a man is also sat next to me who has had even less thoughts and brainwaves than Rich Piana lately. It is, of course, Desmond Van Bus. How are you, Desmond?
I'm good. I'm a bit rushed. I have just come from a friend's house. If you know, you know. But no, I'm quite rushed and I'm ready. I've got notes prepared.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
You don't have...
Where are you hiding them?
You don't have underwear prepared. You don't have notes
I
prepared.
told you I was rushed.
Unbelievable. Oh, if you're listening on the pod, and please, of course, subscribe, like and subscribe. We've only got a month left of this, and we have enjoyed every minute of it. But look, if you are listening on the pod, jump on the YouTube channel, the AFL Armchair Advisors. And if you are on the pod, you will be missing the fact that Desmond is in a... Dan, what would you call this colour? It's some sort of...
yeah, look, a bit of
salmon?
a magenta-y kind of... Yeah. I mean, up top, definitely a pinky purple.
That's a fuchsia. He's got a fuchsia head turban on.
The old turby twist.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Dare
but
I-
yeah, it's a look, mate.
Well, the thing is, it's such a shame that OnlyFans is now essentially cancelled, and I cannot become an OnlyFans superstar that I was destined to be.
Well, I think there's time, mate. There is time. Don't rule it out just yet.
Start your own OnlyFans.
I might have to. What do you think? Comment if you would like to see a Desmond Van Bus OnlyFans.
Only
Except
Des's.
not
Only
on
buses.
OnlyFans.
Only bus. Jeepers.
Only bussy, what?
Before, steady on. Don't want to hear none of that. Now, before we jump into this week's 4 finals, and they are absolute humdingers, boys, I'd love to run the ruler just over the bottom 10 teams. We're going to be real quick, short, sharp and shiny. I'm going to set the timer for 60 seconds apiece. We're going to have a look at how each team in that bottom 10 went this year, what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and of course, what's coming next for season 2022 and beyond. We right to go?
Absolutely.
Just
a little bit of pickle tickling before the main event starts.
I love
Absolutely.
a good pickle tickle, mate. Love a good pickle tickle.
Got to wet the juices. All right, let us start the clock. Dan, I'm going to kick you off. You've got 60 seconds to tell me about North Melbourne Kangaroos. Go for it.
I'm stressed. All right. So they started with a sputter and ended with a whimper. it was a rough year for the Roos. Obviously, there are signs throughout the years. I thought that Zeeble and Hall played really well in their new roles. The midfield was pretty solid at times. Missed Jed Anderson for a fair bit of that. Zerha and Larkey look like they're going to be pretty solid key forwards for the next 10 years, hopefully. And Goldie was a rock, as always.
Absolutely.
But this team is a long way off. Don't get it twisted. They're a long way away from being competitive, and they're going to have to go through a lot more list turnover in this off-season, I think.
Simpkin, LDU, Taron Thomas, big bright sparks for mine. Anything to add there, Des?
I'm just glad they beat West Coast.
That's also true.
Aren't we all?
What do they need for next year?
Pretty much everything, but really a proper key back. A key backman is going to be a vital sort of little foundation to set him up, I reckon.
And I reckon a bit of outside pace. Dare I say, a Jared Pollock type of operator.
Potentially.
Couldn't hurt him at all. We've actually got 2 seconds to spare. That's nice. Look at us.
Very nice.
Tell me about the Magpies.
All right, the Pies. I think the Pies have actually fallen on this second pick here, and they are very, very glad that they have, because really, I wouldn't call them the second worst team in the comp. They played some shocking footy. Shocking footy, but like they had 9-10 debutants for the year, and
equal
players like Bianco, Slot, and Pies from outside 50 is a good signs for the future.
Poulter was a find.
And
Henry's been a find.
I think with this whole Bucks being gone, obviously that's the big story of the year, and Bucks being gone, and whoever coaches them, I don't think it's going to be Bob Harvey, but that's another story for another day.
Indeed.
But the future for Collingwood isn't as bleak as what Collingwood fans would think. Collingwood fans seeing them, we're not in the top 4, we're not fighting for flags. They're in a great spot. All these young players playing well. Might be over time.
No, you're doing fine.
But no, pick 2 is going to be interesting to see. Are they going to pick? Are they going to get?
They don't get it. It's GWS's. They tied it to them last year. GWS gets
nasty,
picked too.
but I didn't know that.
They've got a good little spine. There's some star power there, so they're the Pies. They'll lure people in.
And Grundy. All right, Gold Coast Suns. What worked? Tuke Miller did. Unbelievable. All Australian, absolutely. Next captain, absolutely. Ben King, top 5 in the Coleman with the 47 goals, I think it was this year. That's a big one for them. Beat Richmond at the G.
Yep.
That's huge for the culture. We bloody love seeing that.
Absolutely.
Tell you what didn't work for them. No Matt Rowell. Your number 1 pick, arguably your future captain, everyone's touting him, future Brown, all the rest of it. And Jared Witts really just hammered home how important that man is to that whole structure, that whole team, everything.
And I think that's why it's been so harsh how Dewey's getting treated in the media. I mean,
strongly agree.
He had injuries just like everyone else, but they were the important injuries.
But those blokes
Key
on the
players.
field, but the blokes that were on the field, where's the consistency? That have a great quarters, that have shite quarters in one game, that have great games, that have shite games. It's 7 wins is probably the most they've ever had, and it's still not enough.
So what do they need? Quickly spit it out.
What do they need? They need a key forward to work in with King. They need a key back, ideally Daniel Talia. Probably an elite mid as well. Wouldn't hurt him. Let's talk
onto the Crowies. All right, so massive improvement on last year. At times, there was some serious down spurts in this season. That game against the Bombers was worse than anything they put on paper the year previously. They found their midfield for the next 5 years. So Lead, Schonberg and Keys all look like genuine finds. You can still add to that, but they look like good little key pieces. Butts looks like a handy key back. Thilly looks like a handy key forward. A very handy key forward.
He's part of the spirit squad, mate.
Absolutely. Big spirit fingers. Absolutely. But again, more turnover this offseason. They've got to keep building. They need more experienced defenders down back.
Agreed.
They're just getting wiped week after week. Forward line, well, if Tex comes back, won't be as bad as what we might think, but they're going to need some help up there too.
Fogg and Thilly's good. I'd like to see a couple of more decent small forwards and also maybe some outside run, possibly.
Braden Maynard, question mark.
Ooh, big question mark. I love that. But yeah, look, onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. Talk to me about the Hawks, fella.
Arguably the greatest coach of all time. He's in the discussion for it. Is obviously retired, and the Hawks seem to show a little bit of form in the back end of the year, which was nice to see. They look like a genuine finals team in their last.
They look like a traditional Clarko team.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And obviously Burgoyne gone, but these very similar to Collingwood. These young players have come through. You've obviously got the forward. You've got Brockman. You've got a big Jacob or Jacob. They're in good nick. I think they're in good nick as well. They're in good nick.
They've got a lot of good youngsters and a lot that got injured that we didn't see a lot of, like Granger Barras, Connor Downey. These are going to be blokes that will push forward.
And when North Melbourne beat them in the middle of the year, that's what we were real worried because we're like, well, a lot of the jobbers, as we'd call in the wrestling community, were getting games. The jobbers were getting games because the young players were injured, which was nasty. But towards the end of the year, you can't complain if you're a Hawk supporter.
Does Mitchell is taking over next year. What does he need? What does he need going forward?
They need pace. They need some pace. They're a pretty slow team. CJ, once they lost him, it looked like a different team.
I can't believe I forgot about him.
Yeah.
It was good night, nurse. Let's talk the Blues. I'll tell you what worked. Actually, their spine, realistically, when they had a big pit net in the ruck, big strength pit net, was a genuinely serviceable ruckman. Sam Walsh, unbelievable. Dude's going to be commanding $1 million as of his next contract. You had McKay at the forward line, won the Coleman and missed the last 2 or 3 weeks. Jones and Wiedering...
And was probably one of the most inaccurate people in the competition.
And could have belted it. You had Jones and Wiedering down the other end who were rock solid week in, week out. That's a great spine. Unfortunately, literally everyone and everything else in that team didn't work. And the Blues have it seems like their pervasive sort of culture is, I play for myself, I pad my stat sheet, if I can get a goal, I will. I'm not tackling it and I'm not running 2 ways. And you can't be having that because it's going to kill another coach. So pull your socks up. What do they need for their entire board to fuck off?
Heart.
Actual. You said it.
Spine and no heart.
Just seriously, leave Teague alone. He's had 2 decent years, both COVID affected. Piss off. Let the man coach.
Actual.
Tigers.
Humongously disappointing season for the still reigning premiers, might I remind each and every one of you listening to this. They've got plenty of time into the kids, which I think is actually going to help them going forwards. And it's not really a wasted year, but helps them going forwards, I reckon. Teams finally figured out that game style. They really seem to shut that down. And Hardwick obviously just had no plan B because he's never needed it. So he's obviously going to go away this offseason. I think they'll be absolutely fine. They do need Dusty to come back, and they actually need him to be better than he was this year because I thought he was. And
Soldo. That's a giant miss.
And probably the biggest one, Bolter.
Yeah.
Because he came out of nowhere, turned into a great key back, really missed him. They're set up to go for another premiership, but we'll see.
A quick thought. This happened to the Hawks when they won 2 flags, bombed out of finals altogether, back in finals the next year.
Absolutely. Good coaches know what to do, and Hardwick's one of the best. So
We will see.
Now, talk to me about the Dockers.
The old hee-ho, hey? We've got a... For some reason in my mind, every time I think about these, the young core, so take away Fife, Walters, all of them, but I don't know why I call them the Rat Pack, because really they're not rats at all. They're fantastic. They're beautiful. Beautiful players. We've obviously got Chera, Sarong, and Brayshaw.
Well, they lost Chera today.
Running them up. Yeah, I know. Well, they lost. Yeah, but
hurtful.
Season review. And that does hurt. Carlton, another wasted contract. That's another story for another day. But those three, really, like especially towards the end of the year when they had a sniff for finals, it sums up their year. When the chips are down, Freo seemed to always find a way to give you hope, but they never could grab the brass ring.
It's still a classic young side doing young side things. They blow you away and you think, oh, what could this team be? And then the next week they get trounced by 10 goals.
Always respect guys like Rock Lobster, and Tab played well this year. And
Andy Bray, elite mid.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think as well, a lot of they did get smashed with injuries early on, and it really sort of got them off to a terrible start. So I'm on the Dockers train. I like them.
I like them too.
Strongly agree. Let's talk St Kilda. Tell you what worked. Jack Steele, arguably...
Boy, howdy, did he work?
Not just all Australian, that's done, but a genuine lock for best captain. Like a genuinely in the conversation on that one. The simplicity of their game style, when they decided to just cut out all the extraneous crap in their KPIs, when they just played simple footy and did the team things, they were blasting teams off the park. So go back to that, because that was working. Go back to that. Unfortunately for them, though, mental strength, dreadful. And we saw that through their inaccuracy in front of goal. All right. Confident, well-playing teams don't miss all that much as what they were this year. So need some more reliable forwards. I don't think Tim Membry is the key forward they want him to be. They need another key forward to go with him. What do they need to do? I think they genuinely need lockdown defenders, because all of their backline at the minute is just blokes that love rebounding and running, and they need some Daniel Talia types.
Could be a very good landing spot for him.
And another ruck, because Ryder's at the end of it.
Absolutely. All right, last and not least. Well, absolutely least. Yeah. The Eagles. 3-word analysis. P-hearted wimps. They provided no pressure all year. I harped on it just about every single week. No tackles. Couldn't be asked trying. No. Fair enough. Don't love it. Chipmark game style. They refused to get rid of it. It was proven to be hot garbage. Just stuck with it. Got to admire the arrogance. Pure arrogance. I don't think this list is actually that great. And huge call. I really don't. There's pieces there. There absolutely are pieces there.
That whole mid, Nick-Nack, Gaff, Shuey, Yo, Sheed.
But they haven't shown us anything, though.
Well, and you got Tim Kelly.
But
Tim Kelly hasn't shown much. No. Shuey's getting on. Nick-Nack's getting on. Jeremy McGovern's getting on. How many of these? There is an old list here that is going to need some changeover in the next couple of years, and I don't think they're going to be in the hunt for another premiership. That's my.
Well, clearly they're not in the hunt for a premiership. They come ninth.
Correct. What do they need right now? 3 seconds.
Get rid of the coach and start over.
Boom, done. There you go, boys. That was 10 minutes and 2. That is actually the most on time for anything we've ever been. Does that indicate that this show is also going to be a swish, flash? No, splash.
Can't wait. Get ready to hear these previews. They're going to be 15 minutes
long-winded.
I'm going to meander
big, long scramble, baby. Big, long scramble.
Do you have a scramble?
I have a scramble.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's get into this first game. It's an absolute rib tickler, and I'm keen as a bean. We've got Port Adelaide Power versus the Geelong Cats, Adelaide Oval, on a Friday night. This man is itching to go. Jacob Desmond Van Bus III. Who's going to win and why?
I hate Port Adelaide and I hate Geelong. And guess what? I got tickets, baby. So, like if you're angry at Des. Des will be there watching. I think Port...
I'm going to stop you right there. I've got tickets as well. I'll see you there.
Well, I think it's going to be a Port Adelaide beatdown. I think Port are going to win, and I think they're going to win comfortably. They seem to I went to the final this time last year, the exact same final, exact same situation. Actually, literally the exact same situation.
Freaky,
and it is a bit freaky. And Port comfortably won. They won. I think it was by like 2 or 3 goals. I think here they've got the chance to really put the pain on Geelong. Geelong, when they go sleeping in games, is exactly what Port like. If you go sleeping and Port Adelaide are there, especially at home, especially with all these Port fans that didn't get tickets, but I'm sure there's many that did. I think they could go real crazy here. Yeah. And I know our boy. I can't even think of his name now. They've got a big out in the forward line. What's his?
Georgiades.
Georgiades
The
is
Greek
out.
freak.
I think that is huge.
The Greek freak.
Yeah.
But Fantasia coming in,
It's not like for like, is what you're saying.
it's not like for like, but it's still Fantasia can still kick pies.
I'll be honest though, Port's forward line is way too tall anyway. Last week they were rolling Dixon, Laddams, Todd Marshall, and Mitch Georgiades.
Too tall.
Yeah, they all came in.
That's an average height. That's an average height of 2 meters.
Mm-hmm.
It's too tall.
Yeah.
Too tall. If it's any drizzle Friday night, I don't know what the weather's looking like. That forward line would have been too tall anyway. They've saved Ken Hinkley from himself. He would have picked the same 4 forwards, and they would have got trounced. I'm on Port here. They're coming in hot. Winners of their last 6, 2 of those being against finals teams. So they've got a little bit of backing there. But Geelong's coming off that absolute heartbreaker. And wasn't that
3 points in a quarter?
Wasn't that one of the greatest moments in football history?
It's fantastic, isn't it?
When a ruckman kicks a goal to win a game after a siren.
Great mark too. No rain, sunny.
Okay. Even then, it's
1% chance of rain.
Even then, the Cats would love it if Ports went in with a tall forward line. They'd absolutely froth it. Henderson and Henderson and Blitzarves and Jack Henry, they would love that.
Wait, where's Tui? He's injured, right?
Potentially coming back.
Wow.
He's working hard to get back in, you reckon?
But you are right. Like, the taller the forward line means the more tempted that Port mids are to just bomb it into the forward line. And what has Geelong shown us for the last decade, longer, 20 years, that they froth on?
Bow. Some of these ones. Some
Big,
of these
exactly.
Big, high bombs into the forward line. They feast.
And they feast on. That's what I'm saying. Georgiades being injured, sad. Hate to see injuries to anyone, but it saved Ken Hinkley from himself because I guarantee they would have picked the same forward line and I guarantee it would have failed.
Has anyone ever called Georgiades the Greek freak before?
No, but
claiming it. You've stolen it off a fairly famous basketball player.
Yeah, but
I can't think of anyone.
No. I don't either.
We've had a good yarn about Port's forwards. I want to have a quick look at their mids. I'm very interested. It's going to be Wines, Boak, and assorted gang members in Power Pepper and Amon and who else is going to potentially roll through there? It's Willem Drew.
Willem Drew, fantastic.
Human beings.
Dudes.
Human beings will indeed be
guys
playing
being
through
dudes.
there. They football guys.
Football guys being dudes.
Big football guys versus Guthrie, Danger, Selwood. These are established campaigners. Okay, now not to say that Boak and Wines don't know their way around the traps because they did go deep in September last year, but Guthrie,
and Ollie Wines potentially looking at the Brownlow medalist here, mate.
He's a genuine chance for that. But look, Guthrie, Danger, Selwood, Isaac Smith as well. There's a lot of finals experience there, and they will not be.
Forgot about Isaac Smith.
They will not be concerned going into this final, and even less so knowing that there's no rabid Port crowd there to give them a bad reception. There'll be 15,000 there, and
there'll be a rabid Des there.
It'll be
booing everyone and everything.
I'll have my crom on, baby.
Whereas I'll just be there. Come on, football!
Yes.
Great day for sport in Australia.
Go umpires.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Actual, yeah.
You know,
can I bet on them to all play well?
If Big David Roden's there, I'll be cheering him on.
Yeah.
I'm looking out.
I'd love that.
I'll be sweaty.
Interestingly, these two teams have actually traded wins back and forth since 2018. Geelong won the last. So going on current form, Port's due a win. Rich, who are you tipping?
I'm going Port 1-39 on this one.
I've got Port 1-39.
If you're Geelong, you just can't drop that last quarter at home like that. They did all of the hard work and they kicked 3 points in a quarter against the team that they're potentially going to be facing on grand final day if they get there. You just can't do that. You just can't do that. And
not only that, you knew exactly where that ball was going. There was only one place that was going, and it was right on Max Gawn's head. And who was marking him? No one. Where was Reece Stanley? Where was Radigalea or anyone? What are they doing?
Don't hate on Sav. Sav's sitting in that forward line ready to kick some pies.
No.
Speaking of those blokes, I'll be interested to see who Aaliyah takes, who Jonas takes, because Cameron's back, right?
Well, I believe so.
Cameron.
Yeah,
so
should be in. He was in last week, so I assume he'd be in this week.
So he should be, exactly. So you got Cameron, you got Hawkins. Radigalea has for him been good. Okay.
I think for everyone he's been good.
That's three big bouncing baby boys that someone has got to take out of commission. And I don't know who you send them to.
Watching Hawkins live, and he had Jonas on him like last year, and Hawkins is in great form, like you can't knock on Hawkins. No. He handled Jonas extremely comfortable. He just kicked poorly. He kicked 1 goal 4 last year in the finals, and I remember that because I had him kick 2 goals. And I was very upset about it.
That's always the way.
Put that away. 1 goal 4 though, but he handled Jonas comfortably, and that is why when I say Port, I say it with a little pinch of nervousness, pinch of angst, because if Hawkins Mania could run wild here. Like if he get 1 goal 4, handled Jonas. You could just tell, and I don't know if you can see it on TV, but the way that he just handled him, it was just nothing.
I don't reckon they'll send Jonas to him. I reckon Mackenzie will do it, to be honest. Mackenzie's been much more of the sort of lockdown.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
I wonder how big
Good luck, though.
out Stewart is going to be. This is going to be very telling now.
Huge, as Trump would say.
And,
huge.
And big bless ups to Tommy S. recovering from the list, Frank. Get well soon. See you next year.
I hate to say that.
Let's talk a couple of little bets. A couple of Eddies. RIP to a real one. Okay, so I've got a 6-leg multi this evening, paying $6 for this game. Have a word to me about. Nice. I'm talking Travis Boak Chocolate Milk for 25. Just there you go. Got him.
Nice.
25 disposals. Carl Amon for 20, stock standard. Connor Rosie having a little end-of-season renaissance, and I'm liking him for 15. I think he's a big game player. I see him as being the spiritual successor to Robbie Gray, and I reckon he stands up at home in front of the fans for 15. Your man, T-Mac, Trent McKenzie, the human cannon.
Oh, is he ever?
Is he ever? And that's just his leg.
Super boot, yeah.
Whoa. All right. Yeah. He knows.
He knows. He does know.
You can't rock up wearing that and not know.
No. I'm dressed up as Trent McKenzie.
Hear this. Trent McKenzie for 15. He hasn't dropped underneath that in the last month.
Yep.
Impressive. Isaac Smith for 20 plus. And that's, again, like he's one of the most consistent blokes
he's
in the
moved
team.
for flags. That's all I'm going to say for Isaac Smith.
And who stands up in big games for Port Adelaide like no one else? Clutch games, nail-biting stuff. Who's there kicking a goal?
I'd say Robbie Gray.
You would be correct, and I'm saying Robbie Gray anytime goal.
Big 50 Shades of.
6 legs. $6.
$1.40. The only one I'd add to that is, Tom, don't you dare try the Atkins diet. 15 plus.
I like that.
All right. 15 plus, $1.45.
I thought he was telling me off then.
He loves getting about 15, 16 every single week on the dot.
And he loves carbs. That's why he's no good on the Atkins diet. Alrighty, let us, gentlemen, go to what actually genuinely might possibly be the game that I'm looking forward to most.
All of these games are looking forward
to. No, I know.
But this is because this is the loser goes home. Is that why?
There's just so much going on with this next game. It's at UTAS
Nah,
Stadium.
Let's be honest here. Richie gets the world's hardest cock for GWS. He likes them more than he likes the Crows, more than he likes beers, more than he likes women. He won't tell anyone, won't admit it, but he loves it. Loves the Giants.
I'm a big Giants fan. I do like the Giants.
I've heard it around the track.
Which is, of course, why we're going down to UTAS Stadium in Tasmania, of course. That's what the TAS stands for in the UTAS. Yeah, the more you know.
Did you know that?
No. I love this guy.
Not surprising.
UTAS Stadium, Saturday afternoon, 2:50 Central Standard Time. It is the Sydney Swans versus the GWS Giants in the Bridge Bowl Volume, 2, 3 for the year now? This is the second final that they'll have played each other.
This is exciting.
They love it. They love playing each other.
Dan, who's winning?
It's a tough one. It's real tough.
It is, isn't it?
I'm going to go the Swans. Yeah. I feel like you have to.
Some of these ones.
The Giants, they've got a bit of history going against them, and I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, the Swans, you just feel like Buddy's 8 away from 1,000. Yeah. We're all sick of talking about it. I've heard everyone on social media is sick of the media.
Can't believe it though. We didn't predict that. That's probably one of our, not our worst calls, because it was definitely warranted and had like we could write 1,000-word essay on why Buddy wasn't going to kick 1,000 at the start of the year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you would believe it.
Absolutely.
I didn't think he had the longevity left.
So he has proved us wrong. We have not been wrong.
Absolutely.
I just want him to kick it now. I just want him to kick it and be done, so we can move on.
Do we get to run on the field? Do they get to run on the field if he kicks it?
People probably will. If there's any in the stadium, I dare say they will. Full plug a locket mode. Why not? Get around it. They're in a bit better form. They had a nice little win last week against the Suns, and when I say little, it was a trouncing.
Yeah, but standard.
It was a nice little layup to go into finals.
Standard Gold Coast
to just
loss
to just pulverise somebody. But they, even in saying that, game like this, they will miss Mills more than they missed him against the Suns. Right. It wouldn't show up against them. It will do against GWS because their midfield, Hopper, Kelly, whoever else is rolling through there, Taranto, what have you. Yeah. They're much harder than the Suns are. They need Mills. They need that hard head in there to get in and get under and get the job done. The little bit of history I was talking about the Giants. So they're one of only 18 or now 20 teams, including them in Essendon, teams to make the finals with a percentage under 100.
Interesting.
And winning less than 12 games. Now, Bombers have also got a percentage over 100. But yeah, Giants, 11 wins, 99 percentage. One of only 20 teams in history to do it.
I might put you on the spot here. I'd love to know, are there any teams that have come from that batch of 20 that have won a flag?
No.
None.
None that have ever won a flag, and only 3 of those teams have ever won a finals game.
Jeepers.
And those 3 games that they won were against another of the teams in those 18.
Okay, so battle of the duds,
really.
So really, on history, Sydney's got this wrapped up.
Now, so you just don't get those stats and analysis anywhere else. Who else are you going to hear that from?
Where do you even look that up?
Come on.
You're the man.
Sensible Dan.
And you look at it.
I don't look it up, mate. It's just...
It's in the
honestly,
sky. Take it.
You think about these 2 teams. I think of them as struggling at the MCG. That is obviously not going to be a factor in this finals footy. So at $15 for Sydney and $21 for Giants, if you think they are a roughie, which I personally would advise to stay away from either. But prove me wrong, guys. Prove me wrong. Mm-hmm. But that's not bad. There's some real value. There's some real value in these teams that haven't made the top 4, and as we'll talk about later. But yeah, $15 and $21. I have the Swannies here. I have the Swannies purely because I think Buddy's going to feast, and I didn't know I was ever going to say that in 2021. But I just...
Well, I thought I'd be saying he's feasting, but at the buffet potentially, like post-career, done, I've had enough.
Feet up.
It's
Giants are due for an absolute stinker, and last time Giants had a big run of form, they ended up being 40 points up against Sydney. And I thought, they're actually a shot here. Yeah. What happened in that game?
And I think that's
collapsed
big time.
That's another little point is I would almost rather back in Sydney to win and the Giants to be terrible. Like the Giants they just do this sometimes.
Do. And every time
they look great, and then all of a sudden they just throw up these stinkers.
We think, these guys are playing like a genuine top 4 side. They're have a look at them. They're amazing. And last time they come up against Sydney and they had a 40 point, that's like 7 goals. Sydney had to kick 7 goals to come back from that. And they did it comfortably. They ended up winning by 30 points or something stupid like that. It's going to be very similar. I feel like it's going to be very similar. It'll be competitive until Sydney like to win more than Giants. And I'll always back the team that wants to win.
You're tipping the Giants, aren't
you?
No,
you both make some very interesting points there, and I do agree with the whole Giants collapse thing. They've been doing this since about 2019.
He's tipping the Giants.
When they made that because they made the Grandie.
He's absolutely tipping the Giants.
The week before, they beat Collingwood in the prelim.
They did.
Fantastic.
And that was their grand final. And their form going into that was just superlative. Fell over as hard as anyone ever could in that Grandie. And I feel like we're going to see that again this week. You can't not tip Sydney. I will give you a very, very good reason why you can't not tip Sydney, because it's down in UTAS. UTAS is known for being what kind of an oval? It's a
university oval. Nah, blowy.
Windy.
If anyone knows about blowing, it's the bus.
I don't want to hear none of that. And especially not for... I don't want to hear you talking about blowing while still wearing that kit. It's a windy old oval, all right? It is at the mercy of the elements. I can tell you now, disposal efficiency is going to be key here. Sydney is currently ranked 6th in the AFL for disposal efficiency. Giants are 11th. That tells me all I need to know in terms of who's going to win this game. It is as simple as that. I want to give you so much analysis. I want to tell you why Cal Ward's perfect Brad Cooper-esque locks are going to get them over the line.
Good look.
I want to tell you why Tim Longhorn Taranto is going to get the job done with 3 goals.
Did you know that he had the most clangers in the AFL this year?
I did see that stat. Yeah, he did.
Far out.
But he earned them though. I mean, he's worked.
I mean, someone's got to do it.
He's worked. I want to tell you that
clangers are still disposals. So
no, I respect it.
I don't care. That's fantasy points.
It's fantasy points, baby. Fantasy points.
And disposals for punts.
And disposals for punts, even more important. Look, I want to stroke up the Giants here. I just can't do it. It's very, very evident to me who's going to win this. Sydney
wouldn't hate Giants to run over the top though, and I think we all would say that,
because this will be Mummy's last game. Because Giants will lose this, and this will be Mummy's last game. Because that man, I don't know.
Well, not only that, he can't go around again. They would have the deepest ruck room in the entire league. Because Braden Pruce hasn't even stepped foot on the field for them yet, and he is a genuinely good ruckman.
They've got Pruce, they've got Flynn, they've got Briggs.
They're stupidly stacked.
And no one's getting a look in.
No. He's got to go. Not because I hate Mummy. I love Mummy, but
time's come.
It's time.
Yeah, the time has come.
Go to coaching.
That's the end of that. Yeah, Sydney for the win here. And I think it's going to be nice and easy. I feel like we should give a bit of a chat to Sydney, because it was all Giants there for a bit. Errol Golden.
I pumped up Sydney hard.
I was going to say, I full on blow Sydney.
But go on,
it was just multiple sentences about, we're like Sydney.
Yeah. Go on.
But Buddy aside, this is the most coherent that I've seen Sydney's midfield looking for some time, and I'm blown because I genuinely thought they were going to finish bottom 4.
We thought they were going to be similar to the Crows.
I thought bottom 6
probably a little bit better than the Crows. I think that's what we said at the start of the year.
And I maintain, you talk about the Crows, I'm maintaining that Don Pike has been key to that resurgence, that fast-flowing attacking footy. There's the DNA of an aborted Crows flag tilt from 2017 that is just lurking in the veins of the Sydney Swans.
Turned down Collingwood today as well.
Yeah.
Turned down Collingwood to stay at the Swannies, so good on him.
He knows what's happening there.
His Don is good, as they say.
He knows what's happening.
I heard that someone
offer him
before,
head coach or not?
A haircut.
Head coach.
At the Swans.
No. You said he rejected the Pies.
Yeah, he called him and turned him down.
Yeah, it was for the head coaching vacancy.
Yeah. No lie. Far out.
Turned him down.
Yeah. Big cods there. Big cods.
That's a man who's confident where he's going.
You know what it is? He's already got one failed club on his resume. He does not need a second. Because if he takes that Collingwood job and goes down the shitter,
and especially because Collingwood is such
his
a
head
big
coaching
market.
career done. The next job he takes has to be a team with a good list that just underperformed and is ready to.
It's got to be Geelong 2011.
Carlton.
That's what it's got to be.
Just ready.
Carlton, I'd avoid that shit. Forget that.
Oh God, no. No way.
No, they're a good list.
Forget that. Now, look, when you've got blokes like Hayward that
Ask who?
I don't want it. You can find the door and walk
Sam
out.
Walsh.
When you've got blokes that like Hayward, McLean, all of a sudden firing, Heaney has come good at the right time of year. Papley has not stopped being dangerous.
Jordan Dawson's
gone nuclear.
Yeah, nuclear.
Unbelievable. Even Errol Golden, who we thought, he's tired, the young lad needs a spell. He's revitalised himself.
Love to see that.
Jake Lloyd is now having his best patch for the season. Look, the stars are all aligning for Swans, and it's Swan time.
Bet.
Swan time. Yeah, bet. Look, goals. Let me talk goals real quick first. I've got 2. I've got Taranto and I've got Will Hayward for goals. That's my goals. Put them to the side. This one's a big one.
Ooh.
Toby Green, 15 plus.
Okay. Big game player. Cal
Ward, Jordan Dawson, 20 disposals apiece. All right. So far, so good.
I'm on board with this.
You with me so far?
I'm on board.
And then I had to do it to him.
I know.
I had to do it to him. I had to
Guess.
Guess. I've got 3 blokes for 25 disposals.
You got
Guess.
Kelly.
Ding. Thank you. 2 more.
We've already said Taranto. That hurts me.
It wouldn't be Taranto.
No, I said Taranto for goal, not for disposal. No.
Not Taranto.
No.
I feel like I get this every week.
I feel like when he listens to this part of the show, there's a bear on the tricycle going around in his head. Like, just zones out. Yeah. He says the same bets every week.
Look, he says.
Same bets every week.
Get out your tosser.
3 guys, 25 disposals.
Name him.
Josh Kelly.
Thank you.
It'll be Jake Lloyd.
Yep.
And it'll be Luke Parker.
This guy here.
He knows him.
Nailed it.
If Callum Mills was playing, he'd be there too.
All I could think in my head was Mabby or Chol.
That is about right. Yeah. So quick recap: Taranto and Hayward for goals. Green for 15. That's Toby, that is. Cal Ward, Jordan Dawson for 20 disposals. And Kelly, Parker and Lloyd for 25. Put them all together, that's paying $15.
Delicious. Just got one to add before you get that phone out. Because I do not want to hear that.
Tough man.
Another 30 seconds at least. Jordan Dawson. So he's moved back to a wing again.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did this last time and I fell for it. And I'm falling for it again because I'm a sucker. So he kicked 4 goals in his last 3 games. Because when he plays on a wing, he loves to trot forward and just take a little sneaky one, jam it through the big sticks. Paying $3 for an anytime goal at the moment. 4 goals in his last 3. $3 is a tasty crack.
As Cameron Ling once famously said, not bad for mine, duck. I'm a big fan of that.
Absolutely. All right, get it over and done with.
Okay.
Well, actually...
And he told me a couple of these questions, and they suck.
What, worse than his regular ones? Like
Way
worse than typically?
Yeah.
Oh, it's real bad.
Give the punters, if you're joining us fresh, you've never seen this show before, what are you going to do? Who are you?
It's scramble time, baby. So with the scramble, it used to be 60 seconds, but I wipe that off because I get too excited, get very, very excited about my scramble. And I have the hard-hitting questions that the Armchair Advisor people would like to know. All right, I genuinely this week, I've got some serious questions, but I will admit there are some absolute doozies in here, but they are related to each game. But before we get to that, I've actually got a genuine question. Grand final favourite, both boys, who do we think is going to win the flag this year? It's very, very hard to say, but we have to put it on record, and then you guys can brag about it as much as you want if they get up. I'll tell you mine too.
It's actually quite tough at the moment.
Extremely.
Because my bet's still alive. And I'm due to win $3,500 if Geelong and Ollie Wines get up. So I'm going to back in...
Are they the last 2 legs?
Yeah. So I'm going to back in Geelong, but I don't feel confident in Geelong
No,
at
it's
the
not
moment.
what the heart wants, it's what the head thinks.
And my head thinks, at the moment, based on form, I think Port's in with a real
Shit,
good shot.
I was thinking that too, and I don't like saying it.
I think they're in with a real good shot. If they beat Geelong this week, that will prove to me that they've got what it takes.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all.
Look, I'm worried about Port. Absolutely, that form coming in, big.
If your
Blokes
heart
coming
beats
back.
true for the red and the blue, then we'll sing this song for you.
I'm
And
actually
I think
leaning at Melbourne,
Demons are going to win the flag this year.
I'm leaning at Melbourne.
The only thing I worry about with Melbourne is some games they struggle to score so badly.
It's okay because it's not.
But it's
finals.
not okay though.
It's not finals.
I've got a fun stat for you as well. That Port Geelong game, first qualifying final, 8 of the last 10 premiers have come from that game.
That's
Port-
a scary thought.
That's a stat for you.
Port
although
also won that
for my
last year.
bet, I'm happy about that.
You're 50% happy
Yeah,
about
I'm
that.
50%.
To be
happy.
I'm
fair,
on Melbourne. Go Melbourne.
Port did win this game last year, and it didn't work out for him. All right, Paul Seasmans versus Adam Chera in a bocce match. Who wins?
Bocce.
Yeah,
Bocce.
You know what bocce is then?
Well, Adam Chera is one of the most boring footballers going around, so he'd probably be good at
You'd
bocce.
love bocce.
I reckon Adam Chera.
Perfect. All right, and
Why
now
did you choose bocce? That is the most boring sport in history. It's not a sport.
It perfectly marks
sorry?
Adam Chera and what Collingwood and what Carlton are getting.
I'm very, very sorry. All right, this is another serious question. The team, and this is a top 4 team, most likely to go out in straight sets.
Top 4 team most likely.
Well, yeah, it's just straight sets.
Ooh, Brisbane.
They're so even though this year, and I love it.
I think Cats.
I can see the Cats. I could see them going out.
It is hard. It's a real tough one. That's actually a good question.
That's a very
from
good
you.
question. I can see
Actually,
Cats
I'm
going
going to take
out.
my answer to the Cats. I could see them going out. And they're known for
Chip it
choking.
down.
They're known for choking in
But
September.
in fairness, the Cats do have the easier side of the draw because they're going to play the Sydney and Giants winner.
If they get Sydney,
Giants beat the Cats like a month ago.
right.
and if you think Sydney's easy at the moment, then
No.
you are more
compared
methylated
to
than
the
I
Dogs,
thought.
I reckon.
Dogs are just way out of form.
That's so
and we'll get to them.
We'll get to them. All right, so now the next 4 questions are related to the 4 games that we've got.
God.
All right, first one is for Rich. Boyd Woodcock versus Asava Radaglia
You're going to hate this.
in a cock-off. Who would win? Because
This is the one you told me about.
What does a cock off mean? What does that mean? What's a cock off?
we've got Boyd Woodcock against Asava Radaglia in a cock-off.
What does that mean?
He goes to me before the show. Should I ask Rich this? And I was like, well, you can, but you won't like
Who
it.
would win?
No, I don't like it. You're
Who
right.
would win in a cock-off? Who do you think?
Well, what does that mean? Are they comparing the pair like the meerkats and shit?
I'm
Are
not-
they bringing their prized roosters to the club for a fight? What does this mean?
I'm not obliged to tell you.
Who are you backing in? I'd go Big Sav in
Asava.
any contest. Any contest.
So would I back in Sav too. That's why I put him in there.
Big time.
All right. What colour is Gladys Berejiklian wearing this weekend? Red and white or orange and black?
Oh.
Did I say her name right?
She'd be it.
I'd go red and white purely because she's a.
Go on.
Nah,
I'm not helping you.
Nah,
I'm not helping you out of that one.
I'm red and white. Red and white.
All right, Rich. Name 3 world events that have happened since Essendon's last finals win. Wrong answers only.
Wrong answers only. Things. How many things? 4 things? 3 things. 3 things that have happened since Essendon's last finals win.
The man knows so much about history that there's too much to say.
There is Ray J created a family of billionaires. My guy, and only needed 1 dick to do it. Incredible.
Amazing.
Incredible. What else? There's just too much
But yeah, I know. I can hear your brain from here.
whirring.
Yeah.
I knew you'd like it.
That's one. All right.
hoping you did.
I need another 2 things that have happened in world history. What else? Let's see now. Craig Hutchinson kicked a goal in the Legends football game.
Surprising.
On the G.
And it was spectacular.
And-
in front of Ryan Fitzgerald, who had his pants down at the time.
And we've discussed this. It's probably just about the best goal in one of those games in history.
It's one of the greatest Australian sporting moments I've ever seen. And they did a sequel to Step Brothers that I didn't like. Yeah. No, they didn't. What was it? Anchorman. That's the one.
Anchorman
Yeah.
too.
No, I didn't
hurts
like
me.
that.
Anchorman.
That was no
I
good,
love
though.
Anchorman. Final question. Who'd win in a cage match, a lion or a demon?
In a cage match.
Did you just fart?
No.
I was just I heard a squelch. I was
Well,
worried.
I mean, look,
So will I.
you'd probably pick a demon. I mean, it's mythical creature, so
Yeah.
you
No lion, though.
powers.
All right. Well, that brings us on to the next game, doesn't it, Rich?
You're a shitbag. These questions were easy. Mine were ridiculous.
And I knew that was coming, so thank you for that.
Nothing happened in history ever.
He didn't know about his questions.
Shut up. All right, let's talk. Adelaide Oval, Saturday night, Melbourne Demons versus Brisbane Lions. I am frothing at the dinger for this game. I cannot wait. Spit it out. Come on.
The advisors will be here. The champ is here. The champ being us three. We will all be at this game. We will be at this game watching.
That created a little age.
Before we talk about the game, who do we want to win this game? Like, with our heart, we're going there. We have to support a team.
Brisbane.
I actually find it hard to... probably Brisbane.
I want to support Brisbane.
I'm Team Melbourne. Clayton Oliver, baby.
But, name dropping. It was Clayton Oliver's mum that got us a ticket. So,
Thank you, Mrs. Oliver. We appreciate that.
Thank you big time for that. But
what's Mrs. Oliver's first name? No, it's just Mrs. Oliver. We're respectful.
Mrs. Oliver. You got to...
Respectful.
We don't bring that sort of business in here, mate.
Well, no, I want to be respectful.
Nah.
I want to know the person I'm thanking.
Mrs. Oliver is respectful.
Mrs. Oliver, ma'am.
You're an idiot. Anyway, look, I'm gonna be backing Brisbane, but
is that your tip?
Yeah, no, my tip is the D's, but I'd like to see the Lions win.
My tip is the D's as well.
I like the Lions. I like Wobbo. I love Wobbo.
I love Wobson.
They've just got a great passion. Games at the Gabba in the last couple of years have been lit. The crowd just gets so excited for good football. And
lit is the word.
And
it is lit.
And I absolutely love it. So I'm going to be tipping the D's here, but I would really love a Lions win as well. I don't think, for me, I can't lose. I'm going into this I just love football.
Here to enjoy.
I just love football.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I want Melbourne to win because I genuinely think they are the best chance this side of the draw has got against beating Port or Geelong in a Grande, should either of those go through after this weekend. I genuinely think. Look, Dogs are in all sorts at the minute. Brisbane, they're there and thereabouts. They've gone missing, and they've had individuals go missing throughout the year.
Just a quick little stat.
Yeah, hit me.
Their last 4 wins. Okay, so they've won 4 of their last 5 games.
They have.
Right? In those 4 wins.
Correct.
Average winning margin, 59 points.
And where's been the average position on the ladder against those teams?
It doesn't matter. They've been trouncing some
I'm going to have a look and see who they've beaten.
Doesn't matter.
I know who that.
You can only beat who's put in front of you.
That's also true.
And do it strongly.
So they beat the Eagles, in which they really only beat the Eagles in the last quarter.
True.
Because far out.
Also,
but no,
fantastic. I know you guys weren't watching it. That was unbelievable.
I'm sad I missed
that last couple of minutes.
Whew. All right, they beat Collingwood, who arguably they were battling with Collingwood for the first half.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who else have they beaten? They have beaten Freo at Optus Stadium. That was respectable. I'll give them that.
And they were in contention at that point too.
And a pulverising.
They lost in Tassie, which they're not playing in Tassie, so that's irrelevant. And they finally, they beat they beat Gold Coast. So they beat Gold Coast, in which they were losing the first half. So
I don't care.
Nothing to
pulverising is pulverising.
Very similar to my prediction in the first game. If you give Melbourne a sniff, they are going to hurt you.
It's interesting. Melbourne were out of form badly against the Crows, and they had a pretty poor patch that previous couple of weeks. They were out of form against the Crows, and they still did enough to keep them at bay and then run over the top of them. Mm-hmm. But that's what good teams do when they're getting challenged and they're not quite hitting their straps. They still stay in touch.
Even the best teams in any sport, anywhere around the world, are not going to trounce teams every single week. Some weeks, a shit team is just going to niggle you, and they're going to have your number. And it's up to you to respond, and they do.
And Adelaide did it twice this year against Melbourne. Look, it's interesting. We talk about Adelaide. Must mention, Melbourne's got a record of 7 wins, 5 losses at the Adelaide Oval. Brisbane have a record of 2 wins and 6 losses at the Adelaide Oval, which is an interesting stat. Interesting stat for mine. Duck, as Cameron Ling once famously said.
Did he?
A couple of times.
Okay.
Indeed. Look, again, I want Melbourne to win because I feel like they're that best chance of going through at that point. But I want Brisbane to win because I feel like that's the natural progression now. They surprised everyone in, 2018, when they just randomly rocked up in finals and they're like, what are we doing here, boys? This is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Did they make finals in 2019?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
I reckon it might have been 2019 and 20 you're thinking
2019, they lost to the Giants. That was the year they lost to the Giants.
19 and 20. Apologies, it was a year back. 19, then 20, had that nice run at home, get a bit more finals experience, albeit on the Gold Coast, whatever else. I feel like this is the year now that they need to start putting some wins on the board when it comes to finals. It's not enough to just make them and then bang and you bomb out in the first 2 weeks.
I think they were better. Not enough. I think they were better in 2020. I think they were better.
I think they were more consistent in 2020. But also...
I mean, last year they went in with the expectations and people were saying, they can't live up to them. They were a one-year wonder, blah, blah, blah. Well, they've done it, and they've done it again. So,
well, like I put it to you that they are probably a better team this season, even though they've potentially not quite as been so consistent as they were last year. And I genuinely think because last year it was Lachie Neale, like put the boys over the back and carried them to the promised land. Whereas this year it's much
better
more,
without him.
They have been, but it's been much more balanced from all the other contributors. Lions, his best year ever, bar none. Jared Lyons, Dane Zorko having a real renaissance from him. McCluggage had a great start to the season, had a quiet patch, but he's still been serviceable the last couple of weeks.
Zach Bailey
turned
into a superstar.
Dan McStay, huge. Link McCarthy, huge.
They get Harris Andrews back this week.
Harris Andrews is back this week. Massive. Unbelievably big.
Big Boner Brown is in big boner trouble.
You've got the big boner at one end, and then you've got the human penis at the other end in Joe Danaher,
absolutely,
who's also been good. Nakai Cockatoo has randomly decided to, guys, my legs work again. I'm back playing footy.
Yeah, absolutely.
How good's this shit?
Absolutely.
They've been such a more complete team. I would love to see Brisbane win, but I don't think they're going to do it. I'm going for Melbourne. Because
I'm going for Melbourne too. And
yeah,
you're going
I'm going
for
Melbourne 1-39.
I'm holding this up even though you can't see it, but it says at 8 p.m. at 6 to 8 p.m. is a big chance for some light rain in Adelaide. Does that change your prediction?
There'll be heavy rain from a carbonated beverage going into my gullet hole. Let me tell you that much.
It'll make things interesting if it does rain because that just levels the playing field for every team everywhere. The shit teams become terrible and the good teams become terrible as well. So it's good.
I agree. It'll make it very, very interesting. Hopefully, we're in the shade. I believe we are because we're up in the stands. Just thought I'd secretly put that out there.
Go where I want.
Fingers crossed for Clary's mum.
I feel like that we have already seen this game played at Giant Stadium. Right, we've seen what happens. Brisbane had the upper hand for the first half. They were dominant, really. Like Melbourne didn't have much of an option, anything. They didn't have anything for Brisbane. But then Melbourne clawed back. They actually outscored Brisbane that second half. I just checked then by 7 goals. I feel like something similar could happen. I feel like it's very similar to when we talk about Geelong. Sometimes Brisbane go missing. Melbourne are going to strike. Oh, there we go. I did drop my guts just then.
You are gross. I'm very interested to see who drops the head because I promise you at some point that during this game, Brisbane will drop the head. And we've seen them when they drop the head that they will run out a good 2-3 quarters of a match just with absolute poo.
And then they'll come out and kick 7 goals and they'll still be randomly 4 behind.
If they do that against Melbourne, I don't see.
I don't think it'll be like that in finals footy. But they didn't drop their head against Melbourne when they played that time at Giant Stadium. They were just outplayed.
One thing I will tell you.
Ran wild.
Dan, final thoughts.
One thing I'll say. Right, Melbourne will not come into this game with a dropped head. They will absolutely be riding on a high. That kick after the siren last week, Des, to win them the minor premiership. Oh. Do you know how many times they have won a game with a kick after the siren in their history?
I don't know. Tell me.
Prior to that game, donuts.
Do you know what's very interesting?
2,373 games since their 1897 inception and had never won a game with a kick after the siren. The big cock, Max Gawn, steps up, seals the deal.
Do you remember
they will be coming in higher than any team has been in history, mate.
Well, remember the time Zach Tui actually kicked the goal after the siren in the same position for Geelong to win?
I do.
That's very interesting. I actually think Melbourne might be the most, in my memory, the most scored against team after the siren. I can think of like 3 or 4. I reckon Giants did it one time.
Carlton
have words about
that. Copped it in the poop.
Right. Carlton don't count. Carlton aren't a team.
All right, what are we doing bets-wise?
Bets-wise, let's sort bet. So Melbourne?
Yeah, Melbourne. D's.
Melbourne, D's. Consensual consensus. All right, let's talk bets. Cozzy Pickett. Lettuce Pickett. Put him down for an anytime goal. That man's going to froth on the big stage, and I'm loving it. I'm also keen for Christian Petracca anytime goal as well. I think the big bull is going to relish the big stage, going head-to-head against the league's best, and you watch him stat him up. Speaking of track attack, Trackistan. No, I won't go there. No, I won't go there. Professional. Petracca, 25, fine. Dane Zorko, 25, fine. And in terms of goals, I also like Dan McStay and Lincoln McCarthy, my guys. Anytime goals on those two. Those two have been killing it lately.
Yep.
Killing
100%.
it lately. So, Track, Pickett, McStay, Lincoln McCarthy, goals. Track and Zorko, 25 each. That's paying $11.
I also like Zach Bailey for an anytime goal here. $1.45. He's a big game player. He's done it multiple times. I could actually see him kicking a bag because that's just what he does.
Old snack pack Bailey.
Absolutely.
Snack pack.
Big snack pack.
On to the last.
Last one. And this one's equally as good as all the rest. Like, genuinely, there's that much intrigue in all these games. I just love it. Sunday at UTAS Stadium again, it is the Western Bulldogs versus the Essendon Bombers. Desmond, I've got a fun fact for you to start it off.
Yes.
To start it off right now.
Got some odds here.
To start it off right now. Essendon in season 2021 have beat one top 4 side during the year. Which was that side that they beat?
We all know that.
The Western Bulldogs. That is the side that they beat. Will history repeat itself? No, I don't believe it will. Dogs are just too good and too experienced across multiple lines here. We know they're wildly out of form, but I'm sorry. You can shut up. I'm talking sensible until you get fucking stirred up.
I know what's coming over here too.
Weird cretin. Look at him go.
The turvy twisters off.
He's all swollen and pink like a giant dong.
I'm absolutely going to disagree with you here. Because I think you've got to back the hot hand, and I reckon Des is going to agree with me. Yeah. Dogs are losers of their last 3.
Yeah.
And bad losses as well.
Fine.
Right? They averaged 91 points this entire season. Averaged 62 across the last 3 games. Cannot score. They played in UTAS Stadium a few weeks back against Hawthorn. Kicked 37 points for a game of football against the bottom 2 at the time side. I cannot disagree more here. I don't think the Dogs have got what it takes. I'm right off them. I'm on the Dons train. Dons train, baby.
You know what
I
just
Dustin
did?
Martin Stringer.
This isn't
the media
sitting right on my head, and it's frustrating me. But do you know what I just did then? I just spoke, because this is telepathic, and I just spoke whatever I was thinking straight through that man, because I cannot add anything. I think the Dons are going to do it, and I think the Dons are going to do it comfortably. And that is why they are the Des Dog of the Week. I can't find the Des face, and I'm very, very upset. Someone has... I feel like I've been sabotaged here, so now it is. Now it's the Des hat. It's the Des Dog of the Week. Once the hat goes on, bet against the underdog.
Well, I'm not
$2.48.
No, I don't blame you.
Do you know that my one concern...
Not only that.
My one concern...
that win that you talked about, that was 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Next. 2 weeks ago.
My one concern is I do believe that the Doggies should have won that game against Essendon. They were the better team that day. 2 metre Peter kicked 400 goals.
7 snags, thanks for coming.
But I'll get it up. But
he's in a rich vein.
The Doggies kicked themselves out of it because I remember, and I don't remember the exact score, but they did kick 14 points, and I was like, oh, that's tough. They're scoring inefficiency. And you put your point, Rich, and then I'll find you what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I love it when he speaks English.
Yeah.
So, Doggies were 12 goals 12 up against 15-7 for the Bombers.
Yeah.
Bombers are going to have to kick that 15-7 again.
I strongly agree.
Do you understand? Do you get what I'm trying to say? They were very efficient in front of goals, and Doggies were not.
Since that game, though, Dogs haven't kicked that many points.
No, Bruce hasn't done. Bruce tore his ACL that game. Bang, Des Dog of the Week, baby.
I'm going to give you another stat that's going to go in both of your favours against mine, and I don't know why I'm torpedoing my own boat here, but I can't be bothered.
Bombers are the hot.
Bombers the Don train.
Bombers have played one match at York Park, which is now known as UTAS in the York Park.
And I love where this is going.
They've played one game for one win.
100% win record, baby.
100% win record.
What are Dogs?
The Dogs are 1 win from 7 starts at York Park. I don't care.
Mate,
no, logic is winning out here.
Dogs.
Logic is winning out here.
They shouldn't even be the underdogs. $2.48 Bombers are. Get on them. I need to put this back.
Did you say logic?
Logic is... Look,
Logic of what? You're backing a loser.
No, I'm not... Listen.
If we were sitting here...
Linda, listen.
No, listen to me. If we were sitting in the tab right now, looking at the dish lickers, and you saw a dog that had 1 win in 7 starts versus a dog that had 1 win in 1 start, you'd be like, what is this pile of trash? No way. Take it out. Glue factory. No, all that nonsense. You would be absolutely backing the 1 from 1. Yep.
The only team that I can think of in the league that's got the same amount of brain cells as a greyhound is Carlton, and they're not playing this week, so that doesn't matter.
To be fair, though, this is the only Des Dog of the Week where I'd like to be wrong, because it is very funny that the Bombers have not won a finals game since I was almost conceived. I was like 2.5.
Almost.
Yeah.
2.5.
I can't remember the exact 6,700 and something days.
Something along those lines.
Long time.
He's not 2. This jumper, this was my.
Yeah, I was going. What was the name of the individual that owned that?
This was my bathrobe when I was 2.
I'm not.
And now look at it.
Now look, I've liked the Dons this year. I genuinely have. They've surprised a lot of people. They've lost no fans. They've probably gained a fair few, and rightly deserved.
They changed my mind.
They just remind.
Tipper's the only thing that I like.
They just remind me too much of Brisbane 2018, 2019, just arriving just a year too early. And it's going to be a great experience for those kids of Perkins, of Cox, Who's the other one? Who's that third bloke that they drafted?
Perkins Cox.
It's a family show.
Yeah, come on, Clayton Oliver's mum's listening. I don't want to hear about no Cox on this show, jeez. Unbelievable.
Making me sweaty.
Who's that third kid that they drafted? Who's that other one?
Oh, they've got Sam Durham. There's a couple of
there's a few
blokes.
It's going to be great for A, those younger blokes, B, those blokes like Peter Wright that have never played in a final.
Tipper.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? And C, for their cohesion as a unit. It's proof they're on the right track. But I just don't think with the when I say turnovers, I mean the player turnover that they've had. Blokes like two litre Peter coming in, Nick Hind, Waterman, these sorts of blokes, and Ben Rutten in his first year at the helm. I just feel it's just too early. Next year, yes. Next year, yes. The Dogs are just too experienced. They've been here before.
It's an exciting Sunday game, nonetheless.
Let's talk stats. How many finals have the Bulldogs won in the last 7,000 days? More than Essendon. And recently.
Listen to me. Who cares if they won a final 5,000 days ago? It doesn't matter. Does not matter. I know that they won.
Tell that to the Dons fans.
That's fair though. That is absolutely fair. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. Experience does count, but it doesn't mean everything. The Dogs are coming in such bad form. I just cannot possibly back
them
a team.
turn around.
1 point, 1 point. And have you said your bet yet?
No, I'm about to.
You say your bets, and then I'm going to put my point.
Say
all right. Well, my point is,
because you'll forget
the winner of this game. It doesn't matter who wins. Does not matter because their fate is sealed, baby. Because the loser of this Melbourne-Brisbane game is going to roll straight over the top of whoever wins this. What you're telling me, Brisbane lose this, they're going to lose to Western Bulldogs. I don't see it. Western Bulldogs are not. He does see it.
I don't know what I see.
Nah.
I don't know what I see.
Bombers win this. They are not going to beat Melbourne. They are not going to beat Brisbane.
Is you providing us some bets?
Yeah, well, let's move it on here. All right.
Their fate is sealed.
So we're all tipping the Dogs. Let's move on. Now, what we're looking at here. My man Marcus Bontempelli is having an absolute stinky patch of form, and he's really the embodiment of how bad the Dogs are at the minute.
Yep.
I promise you, with the chat that's already been in Victoria media this week, every man and his dog, pardon the pun, it was shit, piling on top of him and saying how bad he is and Brownlow this and it's out the door and not good enough and that. That man's too proud and too good to let that sit.
He always responds well.
I'm telling you, Bont for an anytime goal, Bont for 25 touches, 2 locks right there.
He loves haters. Everyone was hating on the Doggies when they played Sydney in this going into the granny, and I'll never forget it. Mm-hmm. And actually, the whole team. It wasn't just Bont. The whole team responded. They are dogs. They're all a bunch of dogs, and they will. If anyone is lucky enough to hear it, which I doubt.
No.
They will take that as an absolute compliment. They're all a bunch of PJ Tuckers, mate.
I'm certain that Bont leads from the front here. Bont anytime goal. Bont 25 touches. Yoink. Alec Waterman. He's been back in the Bombers team for the last 3 weeks, I think now.
I reckon he might be out this week. I don't know. If
come on!
I don't know if you saw. He gave away a 100-metre penalty on the weekend.
So yeah, and he kicked 4 goals. It doesn't matter.
The dumbest man alive.
Nah,
that hurts me.
He's too dangerous in front of the sticks.
I know. Yeah.
So what happened was, right?
Idiot.
He ran into the mark, right, as someone was taking, I can't even remember who it was.
We've all done that.
Someone taking a kick, right? Fair enough. Sprints up the ground to follow him, like they all do. What does he do? Immediately runs through the mark again. Gives away the same 50-metre penalty 2 times in the space of 10 seconds.
Oh, it could be. It's my dummy of the year.
And
very funny.
He's standing in the middle of the ground going,
"What I do?
What is this?
Hey, what I do?"
But the worst thing is the commentators are trying to defend him. It was probably Dermy or someone.
It's the dumbest thing.
But they're trying to defend him, which made it even worse because the commentators are mumming him. You know when like a mum sends an email and they're just
okay.
Just
he's trying his best.
Yeah, like,
sure.
Shit like that.
Mumming him as well.
I was crying. It was very funny. No, but fair enough. If he plays,
he's a dead eye.
Yeah, he is.
And he's all he needs is a sniff.
He does.
I tell you, call him Daniel Kerr because all he needs is a sniff. That's all I'm saying.
It's a bit on the nose. Pardon the pun. Another
pun. That was shit as well. All right. So now Bont anytime goal. Bont 25 touches. Waterman anytime goal. And then it's the triple threat. They love 20 touches, these blokes. I'm talking Bailey Dale, Nick Hind, Dyson Heppel, 20 disposals apiece. That's paying $7.
Beautiful. I've actually got a couple to add.
Go on, then,
to be honest. Tinglish for an anytime goal.
Oh, Tinglish, fantastic.
Steph Martin should be back in this week. I think that's just about confirmed.
Yep.
Tinglish is currently paying $1.50 for an anytime goal. And when he plays up forward by himself, he loves it. Absolutely frostbite.
Who's going to stop him?
No one. Literally no one. Right, and also Devon Smith anytime goal. So he has been one of my favourites for the last couple of weeks. So he's kicked 7 goals in his last 5 games. Desmond, what do you reckon he's paying?
7 goals in his last $1.50 $40.
$1.72.
Love that.
That's
Disrespect on that name.
That is actually really good crack for a little multi-build.
Disrespect,
$1.72,
baby.
7 in 5. Not bad.
There's a few funny ones like that this week.
And that is a goal in every game. He hasn't missed a game.
No, yeah.
Goal in every game.
I trust your stats.
That's a funny one.
That's a stat.
He's sensible, Dan. He's sensible, Dan. You're Desmond Van Bus. I'm Rich. Armchair Advisors of the AFL variety. Thank you very much. That's been week 1 of the finals. Fellas, we will see you next week for week 2 when we have the wash-up of what the hell happened this week, as well as what the hell is coming up. So
chaos.
Like and subscribe. Gamble responsibly. Drink responsibly. Hug your mum. Thank you, Mrs. Oliver. We'll see you next week.
Come on, the dogs!